friends, Dean here with Escape to Gaming. Today I'm amped to bring yet another great game from 2014, and that's the incredible Sniper Elite 3. Now I already did kind of an impressions unboxing video of the special edition, which I have right here, and I loved all the little extras that it had with it, but what's more important is the gameplay in the game itself. It's a wonderful game. 2012, I took a chance. I didn't know, and I pre-ordered. I saw some screenshots. I like the premise of it. I love stealth games, and I picked up this wonderful Sniper Elite V2. Then later I bought the special Silver Star Edition, which has all the DLC packs and Kill Hitler and the other maps and multiplayer stuff. So this is complete. You can actually pick this up for a song, and it comes with everything in it. Even though I'd already kind of gone through Xbox Live and had prepaid and paid for all of the extra DLC, but this was an incredible experience. So when Sniper Elite 3 came out, I mean, I honestly couldn't wait. I just said, man, if it's even half as good as the original one, it's going to be awesome. And then recently, a few months ago, I picked up Sniper Elite for the original Xbox. And this game I had also played on the PS2, and this game is tough as nails. Maybe even harder than Sniper Elite 3, but a wonderful game nonetheless, and I'm anxious to go through and complete this game as well. But Sniper Elite V2, I'd gone through, played every single level, gone back through and replayed my favorite levels, tried to get a decent achievement score in it, and it gives you everything, like Sniper Elite 3, that you want in a game, in the way of stealth. It's the kind of a stealth game where you really take your time. Now, Sniper Elite 3 is more open world. It gives you more options as to how you want to play it, where V2 was a lot more linear. So V2, it's like once the enemies found out where you were, they usually had a choke point. They all would come rushing towards your area. You had to set up multiple trip mines to protect your back door while you kind of snipe them approaching you. And they would still get through and you get killed over and over. Where Sniper Elite 3 gives you a lot more options in the way of in open world areas. You can find multiple sniping nests or not. You can stay down low, you can go up high. You can wait for sounds to cover up your shots, so they're isolated and people don't know where the shots are coming from, which works pretty well. It gives you a lot more ways to play the game, and if you take your time, if you try to run and gun and hurry through the game, you'll get frustrated because quickly the enemies will find you and flush you out, and then if you have to resort to an MP40 or a Thompson machine gun or something like that, you won't last too long in it, which I found out the hard way. So it's a kind of a game where you want to really savor your time into it. Use your binoculars, you zoom in, you just scope out, get a lay of the land, you tag all your enemies so you know where they are. That's the best way, and I usually will watch for patterns, and then I'll look for air compressors or things that you can kick or sabotage to where they make random noises, and then those noises can cover up your isolated shots. You can take people down. They don't know where it's coming from. You can even hide the bodies like you can in Sniper Elite V2, which is epic. I mean, it's a great concept for a game. I mean, I love World War II games. I thought that Wolfenstein: The New Order was another wonderful game this year of World War II origins. And I've got this, this other enemy front game, which I'm going to be playing next. Right after Sniper Elite 3, so I'm on the final level of this now, and it's wonderful. I don't want it to end. But what's cool about it is you have 8 massive levels, and each level could take you between 2 and 3 hours to beat it. So I mean, I've got close to 20 hours in the game right now easily, because a lot of my levels I've put a couple hours, 2-3 hours in each level. I mean, and I like to do all of the side objectives and try to take out as many enemies as I can. It makes going after the main objectives a lot easier. So that's what's cool about the game, is if you're taking your time, sometimes you have no choice. You take a few shots and then you can run, relocate the enemy. It'll show where your last position was as far as the enemies know, but you can hide and then come back to that position later, or even find another new position to where you're completely isolated again. So it gives you many ways to play the game. It's exciting with a variety of weapons and upgrades. I mean, as you play the game and you level up, you can upgrade your scope and your rifle. You can pick a different rifle. You slowly will unlock the other sniper rifles. Some of them have better zooming abilities with a scope. Some of them have a better impact, as far as the damage and all that. So you have to kind of carefully pick and choose. But it's a lot of fun. It gives you many ways to play the game, gives you many ways to explore the map. There's lots of collectibles in the game, although they don't really add a lot of value to the game compared to other games that have collectibles which will help you upgrade and level up. So there is a little bit of backstory with some of the letters that you'll find that kind of give you a backstory as to what's happening with the Nazis and what their plans are. And there is an overall arcing, story, just a fairly generic, basic story to get you through the game. It gives you a premise, gives you a reason to be there.
I've reached Fort Refugio. Right now, the informant is our only lead. I hope he's alive. The Allies held this place back in '41 during Operation Compass, so I have the basic layout. It sits menacingly on a coastal cliff, unassailable to an army. But a lone soldier should be able to find a quiet way in, once I make it past the searchlight. Even at night, there are plenty of Axis forces around. It will be near suicide to use my rifle before reaching elevated ground. Even so, if I go loud, I'll have to watch for reinforcements. There's a storm approaching. It could prove useful.
So one of the things that really makes the game fantastic, and everyone by now has pretty much seen it, is the fantastic X-ray death cam that you get. And you had the same thing with Sniper Elite V2. It's even modified to be even better than that. Now they show more muscle and flesh. It shows more layers as the bullet, goes all the way through. It traverses, huge distances. And it, the camera will follow the bullet, and it has a wonderful sound design that accompanies each shot. Sometimes it'll show the bullet coming towards the camera. Sometimes it shows the camera panning the bullet as it goes across, and then as it approaches the head or the crotch or the stomach or whatever area, it shows kind of a highlighted X-ray vision of the area, and it just shows it brutal damage. I mean, of it. It's fantastic. It even has a setting where you can turn the death cam up on frequent, to where it goes off not on every shot, but probably 80% of them, and it's awesome. So I like it as frequent as possible. It makes the game enjoyable. You kind of slow down and savor each shot that you spend so much time lovingly preparing and setting up, which is really cool. So I love that gimmick in the game. Aside from that, it's a relatively standard third-person shooter, but it has wonderful graphics. It looks fantastic on the PlayStation 4. It looks really good on the Xbox One as well. I haven't seen, the Xbox and PS3 versions, or the Xbox 360 versions, but it does look really good. And I think it's out on the PC as well, so it's on multiple platforms. But if you have a next-gen system, it warrants getting it. I mean, there's so much going on in the background, in the way of the sand blowing in the wind. You hear planes flying overhead. You hear tanks and jeeps and epic. It's awesome. You can hear the Nazis talking, having random conversations. there's quite often multiple ways to infiltrate each objective. There's hidden tunnels, there's really cool little mountain passes and trails, and you kind of have to look and search. Sometimes you won't even realize that there's hidden sniper perches and areas around, but that's what's cool about each level, is that they're large, they're vast, and there's many different ways that you can go about it. You can take the low road, you can take the high road, you can stop halfway and kind of backtrack to an area that you've been to previously if you get found out. I love the options. You can, to take out like AAA guns, there are lots of secondary objectives that you can do. Ammo dumps, things like that. You can go through and kill everyone, throw some dynamite in there, or you can go back from a distance and hit an oil barrel or a propane tank and then blow, kill several of them at one time. It's epic. It's really awesome. The way the game is engineered to play it multiple different ways. I purposely went through and tried to kill as many enemies as I could and took my time. Now, you don't have to. You can go through and just sneak by them, but I found the satisfaction in taking them all out even better. And that way, when you finally get to your final objective, it makes it all the more satisfying, and you don't have to stress about 40 guys approaching you from every angle once you're found out. You also have armor-piercing rounds. This one, it shows the same X-ray vision, but with trucks and tanks and half-tracks and things like armored personnel carriers, things like that, and it's epic. Each one will have, you look through the binoculars, they'll highlight in bright red the weak spots. Fuel tank doors, there's little grates or vents behind the motor that exposes where the fuel tanks are. And if you shoot those the first time, it shatters away the metal. The second shot can penetrate through even more, and then sometimes it takes 2 or 3 shots. You get the armor-piercing rounds, it takes less shots. So eventually you level up, you can upgrade, and you can trade out. Instead of carrying, more hand grenades, maybe I'll carry a couple rounds of extra, armor-piercing ammo instead. I like the options the game gives you, many different ways to play it. Now, I found that using the trip mines and the mines and ways to kind of cover your back door so no one creeps up behind you was not as crucial as it was in Sniper Elite V2. This one was so linear that, once you get found out, there's like no place to run. But this one, you can get away. You don't even, in fact, I just kind of got rid of a lot of those, defensive weapons and focus more on aggressive, offensive weapons in the way of, armor-piercing ammo, and even better machine guns, things like that. So it's fantastic. Sometimes you just go around creeping around with you have a well-rod silenced pistol, and it's awesome. If you go for headshots, it's an instant kill. If you don't, it takes usually 3 shots to take someone down, and it's tough. And once you're found out, that's it. You don't want to switch to your machine gun too early. So it's just great. Taking out the guys, you can take out the tanks, you can take out the armored personnel carriers. Once they find you, though, the first shot that penetrates that little, the grating on the fuel door or on the fuel tank, once you hit that, the tank quickly will turn around and try to take you out, and it's fantastic. You really have to hightail it out of there because it just shells you with rounds or machine gun fire, and you can die really quick. So the game has some new sense of urgency to it. With now you get more vehicles out there that you have to worry about and take down as well. They also make great diversions. You can just blow up a truck by hitting a fuel tank or an engine or something, blow it up, and a lot of guys will come out of the woodwork. You can be in a sniper perch and then take them out. So there's many ways to play the game. There's wonderful daytime levels through marshes, approaching cities up on hills. You got fantastic areas at nighttime around a lake with rocks and trees everywhere and old ruins, creeping around. There's many different ways you can infiltrate the different bases and camps. Beautiful mountain passes and lots of elevation changes, so you can be up really high and then watch that bullet just take a 45-degree angle all the way down to its targets. I love the level design. It's fantastic. They did a great job. Rebellion and 505 Games really did an outstanding job. What was amazing is you can get this for $10 less than like a AAA brand new title. To me, it's well worth it. Now, I paid more for the special edition with all of the extras, but it still is a fantastic deal, and I think the price has even dropped a little lower, so it's a great bargain. You want to get a wonderful stealth game. Again, I urge you to, you got to take your time. I watched Phil at DSP do a playthrough of this because I love the game so much, and I watched his entire playthrough. He enjoyed it initially, but near the end he was losing patience as he probably had more games he had to get onto. And he thought the game was bugged and it was broken. It has a save system, kind of like they had in the old Wolfenstein Return to Castle, where you can go back and anywhere you want and save your progress. If you do that, it's not an issue, but if you forget to, the checkpoints are really few and far between. You may have to go way back and do half of a level over again, so it really behooves you to take the time to save often. It even says that in the menus, that real Sniper Elites, you know, save often and what have you. So if you try to run and gun through the game like Call of Duty, you frankly won't last, and you won't derive as much fun out of it. This is one of those games that you savor taking your time. You got all the time in the world to go through the levels. True, there's only 8 levels, but they're massive. And because there's so many different ways you can play it, this really promotes replaying the game again and again. To try the different weapons, different, you know, sniper rifles, different setups, maybe going in and laying a lot of defensive traps. You can blow up trucks and half-tracks with mines if you wanted to. You can put down the roadways. You can use dynamite. You can just take a sniper shot at the fuel tank. There's so many ways to play the game. So many ways to approach the objectives. There's hidden sniper nests everywhere, and each time you unlock one of those, it helps level up. So it's great that they've given you so many ways to play the game. I would highly recommend it. I haven't had this much fun since the last Sniper Elite V2 as far as a stealth game. I love stealth games. And I like ones where I can just take my time. I'm in no hurry. And then I can save the game along the way. To me, it's just, I feel like I'm in heaven, because after every few kills, I hit the save button, save my progress, and then if I die, you don't have to go back too far. So watching, you know, Phil at DSP, he just got frustrated and wanted to run and gun, and he wasn't crouching, he wasn't taking his time, he wasn't tagging the enemies, and they kept hearing him, and part of it was because he was running everywhere and not using the stealth mechanics that are built into the game. So, and I love Phil at DSP. I'd say nothing, you know, negative against him. I love watching his playthroughs. They're very entertaining, whether he, you know, rage quits a game or whether he has fun with it. But it's a great game, and if you really love just savoring and taking your time, you can't miss out on it. I would highly recommend it. Wonderful graphics. It looks fantastic on next-gen systems, or should I say current-gen systems. The sound design is gorgeous. I mean, each bullet, you get a real rush watching the bullet, hearing it, and then as it approaches the target, you just hear it just rip the guy's body apart, or the truck, or whatever it is. It's epic. Epic explosions. Wonderful cutscenes. They're kind of short, great cutscenes. The sound design, these audio cues where if you're detected, you hear something change in the music. All of these things help to make it an outstanding game. I would highly recommend it. I love the game and can't rave enough about it. So anyway, that's my review of Sniper Elite 3. A very polished game. It has a few minor little bugs and glitches in it that I had encountered probably twice throughout the whole game. But other than that, I had a wonderful time with it and would highly recommend it for those that like World War II games and especially sniping stealth games. The gimmick in this with the death cam animations is just over the top. It just makes the game and puts it up there amongst my favorite games, like V2 was. I can't recommend either of these enough. So anyway, that's my review of Sniper Elite 3. Thanks for watching, guys, and enjoy those games no matter what they are.